So I'm in Old North Knoxville checking out this church that was supposedly the second Catholic church built in Knoxville in 1908. No, I'm all about checking out to see if mud flood Tartaria. First thing we've got is this huge geometrical window up here. Check out these windows here. You guys, look at that. What? I mean, come on. Mud flood, okay? I mean, come on. Why? Why do you have a window that far down where you see nothing but a wall if you look out that window? Okay, it makes no sense. None. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be. All along the side of the building. I mean, come on. What sense does it make to build a window way down in here when you look out, you see a wall? Like, what sense does that even make? The ones back here are not covered like the ones up front. Nothing really suspect along the back side here. I mean, these are kind of normal windows. This part looks like a castle up top. I mean, there's really no lightning rod, quote, antenna on this thing now. Who knows what it could have been. And I don't know. I mean, the architecture is like really nothing crazy to brag about, but I mean, these windows are definitely weird. Okay, so this is kind of crazy because I found this book in my spare bedroom when I got home today and completely forgot I even had this. I had a friend of mine who is a Catholic that gave this to me because she knows I like history. So let's see what they say about the church in here. So first off, in the video, the church that I was doing was built in 1926. This is the original church, which still stands next door to it, that was built in 1908. Now, I didn't get any footage of this church because I didn't think there was anything, strange about it. There were no, mud flood like windows or anything like that. So here's an old photo of it. And then according to this book, too, these three doors, how they do the three doors on the front is supposed to represent the Holy Trinity. And here we have a photo of where they're breaking ground on that first church built in 1908. Here is another picture of it. And I think even like this window up here, one of the windows is boarded up. There's pigeons living in the top. The homelessness in Old North Knoxville has gotten really bad. It's just looking so run down through there. Here's another old photo of everybody up front. Okay, and now here is the newer one that I was looking at and filming today. This is what they look like. I was actually parked back there today. And then I'm trying to look and see if I can see these windows, but I can't. They've got bushes and grass. I have actually been in this church because my friend invited me one year to Christmas midnight mass, and I'd always wanted to do a midnight mass. So I actually have been in this church. Okay, so here we are on the inside of this church. Now, I'm not going to lie, you guys. This one's got me stumped. It really does. It's just, okay. So we've got this beam that goes across here, and with the crucifix and Mary, I think, and one of the disciples. Now, this was used to divide, sitting in the congregation, the peasants from the elite. And so this was the inside of the church in 1926, in April. And here, this one is Christmas 1926 when they've added all of this in here. Now, this is where it kind of gets interesting. Here, it's telling us about this right here. This cross and carved statuary were on exhibit at the 1926 Sesquicentennial International Exposition in Philadelphia, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and afterward delivered and installed in Holy Ghost. Now, that is weird because that came from the World's Fair, okay? The 1926 World's Fair expedition in Philadelphia for the 150th celebration of signing the Declaration of Independence. And the World's Fair ties in to a lot of the mud flood and tartarian theories go, because it's like whatever catastrophe happened, they used the World's Fair to reprogram the people. They also destroyed a lot of buildings that they tell us these days were just like plaster, but these things were freaking immaculate, right? So how weird is it that something like this in Philadelphia, which at one time was the capital of the United States, would end up in little old Knoxville, Tennessee? Okay, I'm just saying, it's kind of weird. Okay, but in this book, we do have some photos of when they were supposedly building this thing. Ground was broken on May 10th, 1925. Look at this guy. Like, I don't get this. I mean, I know why he has a staff. Okay, that's a whole other that's a whole other topic. So here we are. That's like a barn looking. So he showed up, the head honcho here. Actually, I think he's from Nashville, is where he's from. And so here is the front. So it looks like we've got these steps here. So everything about these photos, to me, is ground level. Here we go. Here's a good one. Okay, so here we've got these the bricks staked up, right? And then here is an older brick building, or I can't tell, no, because that's not at the top like I originally thought it was. So I'm thinking, okay, here we are. Look, this looks like the street back here. And they're, starting this. And it looks like, I mean, to me, it's like at ground level. So why the windows in that building would be underground, this is strange, because I'm noticing this now. Okay, that's kind of, because initially I thought this was the church next door. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, they're over here building this church. This is the old one, but look at that. That's like a start of a wall. Is that like, let me go back to the other one. So this is the first church, the groundbreaking ceremony, but look at this. That looks like the wall in the back of that photo. What is it? That's crazy. Okay, so back over here to the new church. Look at that, with the bricks sitting up there, the people gathered over. I mean, guys, it is not above them to, like, doctors, stuff like this. Okay, that's how far they go to hide the truth from us. So it's like, I don't know, like I said, this has just got me stumped because of all these pictures in here. Now, what my husband has suggested I did, but look at this one. Now, see, that's a whole building. That's a whole building right there, where this is supposed to be the groundbreaking ceremony. So how do we have a whole building here, but not here? That makes no sense. Am I tripping? I mean, I'm gonna have to go back, you guys. And then I don't get all this, like, So what my husband has suggested is for me to go back and find this right here, so I can get an idea of like where this is. But like I said, I did not notice that initially. That's just, unless that's the, it's not, because that whole, none of the building is made out of that. This is just weird. It's weird. So that's what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna go back and find this stone. I'm gonna take this book with me and see if I can't get to the bottom of it. So I'm headed back to this church, and there it is, sticking up on the hill. You guys see it? I'm down in Happy Holler, is what we call this, Old North Knoxville. Going back to examine this church. I'm actually down here. I've got an antique shop I need to go by, because I'm working on we're doing my mom's estate, and I'm trying to get rid of some of her furniture. So I just was coming over the hill and thought that's kind of just neat how it kind of dominates that skyline there. So I'm standing out front here. Now this is the first church, the older church. That is definitely in the background of one of the pictures. There's the window that I told you guys was boarded up, and there's birds all around. There's the cornerstone on that one. And look at, I mean, this kind of looks like a pretty solid concrete type foundation. All right, now here, and see, now this one's just definitely just lower to the, you know, look at that though. So crazy how it looks like a castle. That is really beautiful. I'm having more of an appreciation for the architecture of this thing than I did yesterday. And the cornerstone is right up front. And here is our cornerstone right here, right by the windows. Look how far down. Look how far down that is. That's just crazy. Like, that just makes no sense to me. One over here on this side, they've concreted up. That one's been closed up. Okay, so here we are. So now that I'm here, I have a better understanding. So we're looking from the front to the back. So this would be the road in the back right there. But it's all looking ground level. Okay, so we got this little girl here. There's the stone. So that little girl would have been touching like one in here. And see, but then we've got all, I mean, what's going on there? Like, I don't know. Y'all, this got me kind of just, I don't know. So I do not know. Here is the stone, and this is all level ground. I mean, what did they do? Dig all of this out? I mean, is that, I don't. Now this, this is the church clearly, so they would be set, you know, that way. Okay, or maybe the brick wall that's not finished would have been on this side. But then looking at this, well, those would have been the steps, I think, because look, the little girls are on this, but that would have been made sense to where that's the floor they started. I mean, that's the main brick right there. How did these, I don't know. Again, there's the windows on the side. They're not as deep down in. Like, obviously this is more covered up. They're also square, where the rest of them are all arched. I'm just trying to get like a feel for the energy here. We really don't, you know, the front part of this is underground and the back part is not. I get a creepy vibe off this end here. I had it yesterday. Don't know why, don't know what, but just that end, that corner right there gives me a creepy vibe. It's a quarter till 3, so I'll try to hang out here until 3 to get the bells ringing again. They really put off a like a vibrational kind of healing, a soothing frequency, I feel like. And you know, that's the thing, they went around taking like a lot of all the church bells out, and it's theorized that they did that because of the healing frequency they put off. So it's kind of also theorized in the Tartarian community that these geometrical windows, like the one up front, were at one point open, like these are up here, and the geometrical pattern also altered the sound into like another level of frequency. Like creepy. Like if you go to this church, I'm telling you now, there's just something creepo about this right here. Don't know. We're back along the back side again, where once these windows are not. Now this is kind of looking like down here a concrete type foundation. So these are not underground, but see, like, look, these are kind of all arched except for those. I don't know, guys, this really got me stumped. And let's not forget, you know, that this place has a World's Fair relic, which is just really crazy. Here's the windows back here along the side. See all this. So how far down could this possibly go? It's like I'm telling you, I was like trying to feel the energy, and it's like, I kind of feel like there's something to this, and I can't look at this window here, just stuck back in there in the corner, that I just can't put my finger on. I just can't put my finger on it. Like I said, I'm definitely having more of an appreciation for the architecture, and even this is actually really pretty, you know? We do have this whole retainer wall here. I mean, maybe they built on top of something. I don't know. Just the way this, it just, let me think about this. Just looking at these pictures again, and honestly, like this one looks like it would have been taken. The wind's blowing. Like just right here in this parking lot. There is a statue back there. I mean, I am on a hill. I don't know. Like those windows are just weird to me. You guys can't figure it out. Don't know. I do kind of feel like there's just more under here. Like I'm getting that sense. Like how far down does this go? I mean, like I said, there's our cornerstone right there. And it only makes sense that right there where those windows start is that would be just sealed in stone. so there we go, guys. I mean, I don't know. It does kind of have a little bit of a mud flood, kind of tartarian type vibe, although the architecture, like I said, is not as elaborate as some of the other buildings are, but these windows are just weird to me. So I guess we'll never really know, will we? I don't know. I wish if those photos were just a little bit lower, we could maybe see what was going on there. So like I said, I mean, so we've got photos of them supposedly, apparently laying this cornerstone. Like I said, it looks like the little girls would be standing there. Some little girls would have been right here. That's where the priest would have been. So kind of weird too that it's on top of the lowest windows, or the most underground windows. I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting to think about, definitely. So kind of as I'm leaving, just interesting to note, like, this is different than the whole building. Like, this is a pebble type concrete. I mean, look, it's that way down the whole sides, and that one's concrete. Could have been, but on the inside, look, it's that pebble. No, it's concrete too. Those are, it's just weird. That just makes, I mean, my husband thought, well, maybe, you know, it could have been like some type of ventilation system. And then it's like you're walking flat here. I'm going to the back, and then you've got these steps up to this door. You know, it's kind of like, why? You know, I don't know. While I am in the neighborhood, I was going to just to kind of stop and show you guys the first Catholic church in Knoxville or East Tennessee. But so this is Immaculate Conception. And this will be a whole other video in itself, because this one is definitely something interesting to look at. For those who don't know, there is a, quote, underground in Knoxville. There was actually a club back in the day called the Underground. It's not as known today as it was then. So really you're having a hard time seeing it. But I am up here on a huge hill. Okay. This is the lower end of Gay Street. You can see that like JFG building there, and the buildings. Half of the lower Gay Street is underground. So it's actually kind of cool, but like I said, that will be a whole other video. It's another church that I have actually done a video on before. And I mean, this one, look, every one of these covered, all of this are windows below ground. I know somebody that goes to this church and asked them if these were windows, and they said they were. The architecture is much more, I think, elaborate on this. This is a Lutheran church. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But all of this are covered windows. And I might do a little more in depth in it on another time as well. But I was just noticing kind of like the castle-like design at the top is kind of similar to Holy Ghost. Yeah, Knoxville actually does. We do have a lot of interesting history around here. And growing up, it's like, I always thought Knoxville was so boring, and it's because my grandmother lived outside of D.C. So I was always doing stuff up there. So I always thought Knoxville was boring. But as I got a little bit older, I realized, you know, that we do have a lot of interesting stuff here. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's interesting to note as well, as far as this type of architecture, we go from 1908, 1913, from building stuff like this to this. This is the addition on the church. I mean, the architecture, and I'm looking around, and it's like once you see things from a certain perspective, it's hard to unsee them, right? It's like I walk around and I see old world, new world, old world, new world. But you know, just the buildings are nothing like they were once built, but supposedly, you know, in the late 1800s, early 1900 with horse and buggy, and this is what we build with the technology we've got today. It's just strange. Now this is an older building that's obviously been restored. And I guess here's a pretty good example of kind of what I'm talking about. Just look at the architecture on this old building and where they've restored it. Okay, we've put in, you know, plain square windows, brick. I mean, it is nowhere near as beautiful as the old world architecture.